Oh, good. Just traded for this. Go ahead, try it on.
What is the currency that's used in the TV show The Last of Us shown on HBO? And how do we see gains from trade? That is the topic of today's video. Once again, pleased to be joined by Chris Clarke, economist at Washington State University. Chris, thanks again for being here.
So cool to talk about The Last of Us. The show is amazing. So many economic lessons we can learn.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. And for those who watched the last video, you already know this. And Chris has an amazing TikTok channel, and we will put the link in the description. Econ Chris Clarke. Today, we're going to look at some gains from trade. How does trade work in The Last of Us, along with a little bit on currency and perhaps a breakdown of currency. Joel talks to Bill in The Last of Us. We'll watch this clip, and we'll be right back to share our thoughts with you.
Radio, we're actually decent people just trying to get by.
Oh. Well, aren't I the lucky one?
There's stuff we have in the QZ that you don't have here. Books, medicine, machine parts. We can help each other and get that gun out of my face. So what, you were a prepper or something?
Survivalist. Maybe you are decent people, maybe not, doesn't matter. We're self-sufficient here. I don't need you or your friend complicating our lives. Is that clear?
That fence has got a year on it, tops. Galvanized wire already started to corrode. I can get you 10 spools of high-tensile aluminum. Last you the rest of your life. Lives.
Ready?
Yes. Oh!
I traded Joel and Tess one of your guns for a packet of seeds.
Which gun?
A little one.
And then he starts crying. Laugh crying. He starts laugh crying with tremendous joy.
Laugh crying with tremendous joy. I think that episode might be one of the best TV episodes I've ever seen. I love that.
It's so good.
And that short clip could have even kept it longer, but try to keep these clips a little bit short. Later, we see them getting some prescription drugs that wouldn't have been available otherwise. Yeah. I love this clip as Bill and Frank at the end. They could be the richest people in the world at this point in time. They had we see, he was a survivalist, not a prepper, as he says. Survivalist, and he had a compound, and he was prepared. They have wine. They have crops. He
has natural gas.
He has natural gas. He's got electricity. He's got everything. I mean, he's got everything. Sort of. But even him, as the richest person in the world, gains from trade. That clip just makes me happy to see.
Yeah. It's extraordinary how, because he thought he could have everything he wanted. Go to 1950, go to someone, they had 1,000 square foot house, maybe one car, a tiny little fridge. Half of the people in the neighborhood didn't even have a flushing toilet. And you say, it's brand new, and you go to them and you say, how rich do you think we're going to be in 80 years? And I'm not even talking about the cool electronic gadgets that we have today and what we're doing here, talking across the country live like this over video chat. Just the quality of the cars, the quality of our houses, the quality of our health is leaps and bounds ahead of where it was in 1950. We can't fathom how much richer we'll be 100 years from now.
Yeah, yeah. And even the richest person in the world, right? The gains from trade. What I love here is the idea that comparative theory of comparative advantage, that trade can benefit even the person who's really better off, better at producing everything or better at gaining access to just about everything.
Yeah.
The richest person in the world here gains in a trade that we look at and we would think is laughable by today's money standards, right? You're trading a gun, which, most guns would cost hundreds of dollars, for a packet of seeds, which you go to the store would cost next to nothing.
Yeah.
But I think it's pretty clear that trade made both sides better off, or at least we see Bill and Frank, and we
oh yeah, yeah. That's a good point. Bill basically had absolute advantage in almost everything.
Yeah.
In almost everything. And yet he didn't well, actually, I don't know. In the case of the seeds, he didn't have an absolute advantage in seed production. So I think this is just a case of absolute advantage.
Yeah. But
yeah, in fact, I would say all three cases of trade you mentioned, the aluminum chain link fence versus the galvanized one, and the strawberry seeds, and then the pharmaceuticals, Bill didn't have access to.
Yeah.
So all of these are absolute advantage. But yeah, Ricardo's insight above what, because Smith was free trade, David Hume was free trade. But Ricardo's insight is that even if you can produce better stuff, so you would still gain from specializing, because you always have the opportunity cost of your own time, that you could do something else with your time.
Yeah, and maybe Bill and Frank, maybe they could have figured out how to grow strawberries somehow. If they put in a lot of time and effort and went somewhere that had them, maybe they
could travel.
Risk, but they'd be risking life and limb, and instead they just traded one of their hundreds of guns that they happen to have, and all of a sudden they've got seeds grow, things grow, aluminum to protect them, prescription drugs, and the joy of the seeds there. So yeah, you're right. It might be a case more of absolute advantage, but still the joy of the gains from trade. I loved your point on the 80 years from now. I've gone back to about 100 years recently, and the estimates tend to say maybe
the 1920s, 1930s.
100 years ago, the median household income, if you adjust for inflation, might have been in the neighborhood of 5,000 or 6,000. It's tough to know for sure, but that's the number I've seen.
Also, that's 5,000-6,000 in today's dollars.
In today's dollars,
yeah.
So 5,000 to 6,000.
Yeah, if you're using PCE to adjust for inflation.
No plumber, no plumbing. Much smaller places.
Very few plumbing. Yeah. In the 1920s.
Like all of the things. That the heating wasn't good, the lighting wasn't good. There's obviously all of the things. So.
The danger of fire. So if you had electricity, because some did in the 1920s, it wasn't as safe as the electricity today. So you had more electrical fires. And if not just more electrical fires, but if you're not using electricity, you got a stove. And that stove is using wood or some other combustion. Yeah. And the fires and the burns happening from that were far more frequent than we have. Cooking is so safe today relative to what cooking was back then.
So 13x living approximately, if we're looking at 80,000 median household income today, 13 times improvement for the middle family.
Compared to the 20s.
If it's 13 times again, 100 years from now, the median family in America would be making $1 million a year. That's the middle family.
The equivalent,
It's kind of stunning to think about, and we could go down a rabbit hole on that one, but that's I've got another clip wanted to show where we see a little bit about trade again and some currency within The Last of Us.
Then
Come on. Or I could just shoot you.
Yeah, but then what would you do? You're short 5.
Oxy?
Hydro.
How old?
3 months.
From Atlanta?
I don't know where he gets them from. I just know they're real.
It's real. It's from Atlanta. I just got a factory down there in the QZ. Supposedly only makes 2 things. Pills and bullets. Bullets and pills.
The more you shoot people, the harder it is to sleep, I guess.
Oh, you guess?
You want them or not? I need the bag back. How we doing with the vehicle?
All set? So I have to get one last guy in the depot to buy in.
Okay, how much?
4 of them on that shift, plus me. 600 total. Look, those trucks are shit heaped for a reason.
And they don't have any batteries. I know. I can see about 200 for the other guys. 200 for you.
Deal.
Okay, we see some more trades here. We also see some interesting facts that come up about the currency here. The part that really jumps out to me is all of a sudden they have ration cards, right? You notice there was a clip there that there's rations. So it seems like there was a total money breakdown when the virus took hold and the government collapses and this new entity takes over.
Yeah. Yeah.
We've got a currency, or we've got ration cards, and the ration cards seem to serve as this new form of currency as we see Joel attempting to trade with a government official.
Yeah.
So it kind of brings up the idea of what is money? Why does money have value? Why aren't they using US dollars anymore? What are your thoughts, I guess, when you see some of these clips?
Well, it's been 20 years, and paper bills break down, right? So that's one thing. But two, I think far more important, when we think dollars, we think paper currency. But most of our dollars are like just digital ledgers inside of a bank's computer. And the only reason it works is because banks have a tremendous amount of digital security. So those digital zeros and ones are controlled, very, very carefully. But if everything breaks down, you don't have that system of digital bank accounts anymore. That's going to break down. So your paper bills are going to wear out. Your bank account system doesn't work anymore. So you're going to need something that is easy to trade. So it has to be very easy to transact, and you can't have too much of it. So you can't use pebbles because we have too many pebbles out there. That'd be too cumbersome, the amount of pebbles we would need to trade things.
Yeah, it's a good point, and I guess in thinking about why it happened, we've 20 years. We're right. The paper bills just aren't going to exist anymore, and not to the level. Maybe someone does, but the other thing you need to have for money to matter is people need to trust that it's money and somebody else will take it. And if they've broken down so much that people don't care, if you happen to have a random $5 bill still, it might not even matter.
Right. If no one's willing to take it. Yeah.
Yeah. So in terms of the properties of money, when we're teaching principles of economics, often the things that'll come up, right? Durability is a key one, right? It has to be sturdy enough to last at least for a short period of time. Usually it has to be divisible in some manners, and it doesn't mean you rip it in half. But if you think about American currency, right? It could, if you are doing it with paper and coins, right? You have from $100 bill all the way down to a penny, maybe it's soon to be only a nickel, but right, like
only a nickel. And we should get rid of the nickel now too. We should it should only be down to a dime.
Only a dime. The people do need to accept it, and then also portability matters, and I think that happened. You mentioned scarcity as well. It has to, if somebody could recreate this, doesn't really serve the purpose as well. It does seem, the types of currency, the commodity money, which has some intrinsic value beyond versus fiat money, which you just trust other people will take. It does seem like whatever these vouchers that they're using do seem to be fiat money.
Oh, right? You think they're more fiat money than well, I guess. Yeah, because I don't know. They are backed by food. So I think it's similar to a gold standard.
So similar more to a little bit more commodity money type.
So it is paper money, but it is they're backed by food.
Yeah. So it's kind of an interesting take here. The part that I also find it interesting that Joel is there's a side market that's emerged, and Joel is essentially a drug dealer here, with a government agent. I mean, I don't know that there's any other way to put it. It's prescription drugs, but he's become a drug dealer, and we have Joel was involved in the other market with in the other video that we saw, and now he's selling drugs.
Joel is an armed merchant. He's an armed merchant. He's living. He's the laws of commerce are governing him more than the laws of the land.
Yeah, yep. He does what he has to do to get by, and I think it's a fascinating little clip. A couple little economics examples embedded right in there. But throughout the series, this series, and honestly, the video game too. I know you've played the first one. I've played both. I'm not that much of a video gamer, but I do. It is a nice way to relax sometimes on the treadmill. Actually, I'll grab.
You play on the treadmill.
Yeah,
so you're running along.
I have to turn the speed down when I'm like in the action, but when it's in the you can reload your weapons, then I can go faster. But but it still follows the laws of economics and
scarcity is scarcity. Yeah,
scarcity. So
so I mean, this is a good lesson. Black markets always exist. Well, I think a lot of the literature calls it a shadow market instead of a black market, but they're always if there's an opportunity and the benefits are bigger than the risk, the kind of expected value of the risk, some people are going to do it. Sure. Some people are going to do it.
Yep. It's a fascinating look at gains from trade and the value of currency within The Last of Us. So thanks, Chris. Thanks again for joining on this video. For those watching, this is part of a series. Be dropping new videos weekly as The Last of Us Season 2 is coming out on HBO. So like and subscribe. You can check out Chris at Chris Clarke across any social media. And Chris, any closing words of wisdom?
Markets are powerful. Markets have always existed. And the laws of scarcity and people's preferences are always here, no matter how we organize society.
That's a great way to close. Thank you, everybody, for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.